Deep in the heart of rural Maine lies the abandoned Arborville Sanitarium, a crumbling asylum that has been deserted since the 1960s. The sanitarium was notorious for its brutal treatments and inhumane conditions. After a fire destroyed part of the building, the remaining patients were moved, but some say not all of them left. Sound of distant wind and faint, unsettling creaks. In October 2021, a group of urban explorers decided to spend a night in the sanitarium, driven by rumors of paranormal activity and the chilling history of the place. Equipped with cameras, ghost hunting tools, and an air of reckless bravery, they entered as dusk settled, footsteps echoing in empty hallways, muffled thuds. The sanitarium's interior was a maze of dark, decaying corridors and shattered windows. The group set up their base in the main lobby, where the air was thick with a sense of dread. They started documenting their surroundings, capturing the eerie silence and the occasional rustle of unseen things, sound of rustling papers and distant, ghostly moans. As night fell, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. They began hearing faint, disembodied whispers and the clinking of metal against metal, though their equipment showed no signs of interference. They ventured into the lower levels, where the most horrific treatments were once administered. Faint whispers and the clanking of chains. In the basement, they found an old operating theater, its once pristine equipment now rusted and covered in grime. The air was cold and heavy. They noticed a series of disturbing drawings on the walls, sketches of anguished faces and cryptic symbols. Their flashlights flickered sporadically, casting eerie shadows, sound of flickering lights and distant, disembodied screaming. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the basement, and their flashlights went out completely. In the pitch darkness, they heard shuffling footsteps and a guttural, agonized wail that seemed to come from all directions. Panic set in as they fumbled to turn on their lights, only to find a figure standing in the doorway. Sound of frantic breathing and a low, guttural moan. The figure was gaunt, with hollow eyes that glowed faintly in the dark. It was dressed in tattered remnants of a hospital gown. The air grew colder, and the figure began to move towards them with unnatural speed. In sheer terror, they bolted up the stairs, but the building seemed to shift, its corridors twisting and leading them back to the basement. Sound of heavy, panicked footsteps and creaking floorboards. Desperate, they stumbled upon a hidden room, where they found a journal detailing the final days of a patient named Clara. The entry spoke of a ritual to bind souls to the asylum, performed by a deranged doctor. The last entry was a scrawled warning: "They are bound here, and so am I." Sound of rustling pages and an eerie, mournful wail. As they read the entry, the figure appeared behind them, its presence suffocating. Their cameras captured the horrifying scene, the figure's face twisted in eternal agony and the room filling with shadowy forms. They fled the sanitarium, leaving their equipment behind. Sound of shattering glass and a distant, mournful scream. The next morning, the group found their footage corrupted, except for one chilling frame, a close-up of the figure's face, its eyes filled with an endless, empty darkness. The Arborville Sanitarium remains untouched, a place where the restless souls of the past linger, waiting for the next unwitting visitor. Some places are not just haunted, they are prisons for the damned.